Today, we are talking about 5 tips to help you in your career transition. Now, whether you are entering into a career transition voluntarily or involuntarily, the fact of the matter is all of us at one point or another are going to face that reality. So you want to do that in an empowered space, and one where you are eliminating overwhelm, you're eliminating frustration and fear and anxiety with such a big monumental thing. So here's a couple things that I want to talk to you about today, specifically as it relates to somebody who is looking at a career transition and doing it more on a voluntarily basis. Someone who is really fed up with their job, who are kind of fantasize about obviously owning their own business or doing something on their own. Here's a couple things that I want you to think about and focus on. Number one, you've got to be able to really delve in and get clear on what your value proposition is going to be to the public, okay? What is going to be your unique value proposition and what is going to be your purpose? Because if you don't get that alignment right, okay, you are going to set yourself up for a lot of struggle and disappointment. Because in the world of entrepreneurship and doing things on your own, there's going to be lots of hills and valleys, and you're going to need to have major belief in yourself to suffer through and get through those hurdles. So if you have a very clear value proposition and an understanding of what your purpose is going to be, and have really a clear understanding on how that's going to be communicated to the world, guess what? You are super, super, super ahead of the game. I know many people, present company included, it took me a long time to really understand, hey, what am I really going to offer to the world that I can stand behind, that I can put myself out there, make myself, vulnerable and susceptible to the opinions of other people, and really just create that suit of armor that I know that I can forge ahead regardless of those exterior and external factors. So getting clear on your value proposition and your purpose. And if you are struggling with that, okay, I'm going to suggest that you move forward and inbox me, and I will send you what I have what's known as a clarity questionnaire that will help you get clear on your value proposition and your purpose. Okay. Number 2, you've got to gain and be able to gain and receive objective feedback before you take the leap, during the process, which is going to be, an ongoing situation, and then after you take the dive, okay, in all facets of your journey of making a career transition, you've got to be open and susceptible to receive objective feedback from other people. Because here's why. Too many of us, right, fantasize about what it would be like to be on our own. Or we look at our current job situation as being this thing that is holding us back, okay? Now, here's the thing you got to keep in context. Oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, there are scenarios where your mindset and how you are contextualizing your current situation is possibly sabotaging you from being able to realize a place where you can have real abundance and a real more relaxed mindset associated with what you're doing. Okay. And that's really, really important. So getting that objective feedback to give you, say, hey, look, let's take a look at where you really are. Is it internal chatter that's really setting you back, right? Or being able to have someone evaluate it. So you are not going to be entering into a situation prematurely or unnecessarily, because a lot of us who are in these careers, you've worked hard to get to that point. So we want to make sure that when you're moving forward, it's the right move for you. And then, of course, during that process, as I mentioned to you earlier, getting clear on your value proposition and your purpose is critically important, but also getting that objective feedback, those bolts of confidence that you're going to need to get you through. And I will tell you this, a lot of the things that gotten me through the years is, being able to chart small wins, getting objective feedback from people who can give me, some sense of how far I've come. Because if you are somebody who is a performer, someone who is super focused on, criteria of goal setting and getting those goals set up, when you are entering into the world of entrepreneurship or doing things on your own, there's oftentimes, the timelines that we initially set up, they may be different from actually what is actually turns out to be your particular journey. So getting that feedback during that process is extremely important. And then after you take the dive, right? That's a matter of fine tuning, right? Your offer, fine tuning what you're doing. Okay. Because so many of us hit a self-imposed wall and a limitation. Okay. And quite frankly, we get complacent, or we not work on our mindset enough, or our skill set, wherein we get really just inundated with working in the business as opposed to on the business, and it's somewhat can keep us limited. So really important situation to keep in mind as you move forward to gain that objective feedback. Number 3, make sure you're making the change for the right reasons. That's critically important, particularly in this day and age. Okay. We live in a really volatile time. There is no doubt about it. I know for me and many, many other people, who are invested in the stock market, have money in the, and say crypto or NFTs, it's been a bloodbath out there. Okay. It's a time where even the toughest and even the most grizzled and seasoned people can be like, what the hell is going on? Right. So you've got to be able to say, hey, am I really making this change for the right reasons? Okay. And that kind of bolsters some of the things I talked about earlier, where you're getting that objective feedback, and spend the time to write it down and be vulnerable to get, like I said, that feedback from other folks. So make sure that you are doing things for the right reasons. Okay. Number 4, you've got to recognize once you make the change, particularly if you're new, doing something new, or you've never been on your own before, you could do all the planning in the world, which is amazing. Highly recommend you do the planning. Highly recommend that you follow a established guideline and a business plan. However, you've got to recognize that no matter what it is that you're doing, you're going to understand that you're going to need to pivot, and you're going to need to adjust. Okay, regardless of your plan. Now, if you are going to be moving into a situation wherein you are really closely aligned to something that you're already doing, obviously that's going to be a little bit easier on the pivot. But some of us are going to be in situations where it's completely new, right? We're realizing that, hey, you know what? If not now, when? As far as maybe with that dream scenario that we always wanted to do. And let's face it, look, I'm 52 years old. There's a lot of the folks who I work with who are in my age group where they're really contemplating, hey, you know what? I'm getting, older. So if I'm not going to do something that really brings joy and purpose to my life now, when the hell am I going to do it? So recognizing that being the case, you've got to make sure and embrace the fact that being able to pivot and adjust, okay, and to be able to recognize that if you commit to the process itself, you're going to have a much higher likelihood to stay in it long enough for you to realize your potential, okay, with respect to your change. And number 5, you've got to make sure that you have systems in place that you are going to, on the reg, be feeding yourself positive information, okay, positive messages, keeping yourself in an elevated state of mind. Because if you turn on the news, and I don't care what side of the fence you are on, or you're split right down the middle, it's negative. Okay, there is a lot of negativity that we are being bombarded with on the regular basis, and if we allow that to impact our life, on top of the challenges that are associated with doing something on our own, gosh, you can easily fall into the vortex of really negative mindset spaces, okay? And really being down on yourself. And, a lot of the people I work with are folks who struggle with that. Well, I've struggled with it. The reality is so many of us struggle with that. And I don't care what level of success you're at. There's people I know that I'm very, very close to that, from an economic standpoint, they technically don't have to worry at all, but they still get caught into that vortex. So you want to make sure that you are consistently starting your day, okay, and ending your day with pure positive messages that are going to pour into you that belief, that mindset. So you are living in an empowered space each and every day. And I had done a video on this a few weeks back. But one of the greatest ways to do that is also to do it in a way where you are doing things each and every day that are implemented so that you are living in an empowered space, whether you're exercising, which you should be doing, whether you're eating right and you're fueling your body with the right type of nutrition, you're getting the right sleep. All those play so much into the hand of your ability to keep and maintain a positive mindset through the process. So if you know somebody who is going through a career transition, or you yourself are going through a career transition, right? And you have questions about some of the things that I talked about. You want to pick someone's brain who's been doing it. I've been working in the trenches as a business owner, entrepreneur, and attorney for over 20 years. I have a treasure trove of content and information in this noggin of mine that I like to share with people so that you can make sure that you move forward in your business empowered, okay, and an elimination of overwhelm and frustration so you can achieve the success that you deserve. So if that's something that's interesting to you, or again, if you know somebody who can that be of service to, please reach out to me. You can send me an email at mike@mikecaluzzi.com. We could set up a time to talk. Really, really simple. I actually include a link to set up a 15-minute free consult as well. And we can talk to see how I may be able to assist you to go through that career transition as smooth as possible and have the right mindset to ensure your success. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.